So remember when I said I would be making another update video? Well, here it is. Take a sip, babes, because I'm gonna explain to you the new thing I'm doing. So obviously, as previously stated, my last thing didn't pan out due to the aforementioned slowly burning garbage pile, but I wasn't gonna let that shit get me down. So after 3 months of trying to figure out what to do, I finally decided, to hell with it, and made a new series. This series is tentatively named Divine Rights, but I might rename it because it's still in development. How is it different? Well, I'm glad you asked. It's different in every feasible way. Hot dog! I know that's kind of hard to hear for people that have been very attached to the old series, and trust me, I am too. There are times I look back and wonder where things went wrong, and hope that things will change, but my hands are kind of tied here. That's why I put it all up to be read. I felt really bad taking it all away from you with no end product. But that aside, let's get into how it's changed. I'd like to give a disclaimer that the story is completely redone. Like, it's not even remotely similar in character relationships and events, and even the lore is different. So that's why I know some of this shit is gonna be like, what the fuck? But I promise you, most of this stuff was done to keep the theme and lore consistent. I wanted to keep most of the aspect I liked from the story while leaving the parts that had been contaminated, I guess. To get things straight, I've split the original concept of Mephistopheles into 3 aspects of this character, like so. I feel a lot of the problem with my original concept was I was trying to do too many things with him. I feel like the story can expand if I just focus on just these aspects of his character. It'd make the theme a little bit less hard to understand. Firstly, Mephisto! This guy. As his name would suggest, he's the closest there is to the original concept. He's very much a guy of all time, and I don't really want to get into it much more because Secondly, we have Lucian, Mephisto's son. Yes! Don't look at me like that. I said it would be different. Lucian is the midpoint between most of the concepts I've had. He very much encapsulates that idea of self-worth in comparison to another, and being made to believe that you're lesser. While this is also present in the next character, it's a lot more bitter for him. Last but not least, Tobias. Oh boy, my favorite boy. He represents the idea of trauma I wanted to get into with Phoebus, and a few other interpretations I made of the original concept. He's just a guy who deserves more. Next, away from those things, we have the following vibe check. Oh god, how do I explain this? So, when Camellia was a visage of the progenitor Almia before, she's not that now. To explain that, Almia and Pachel exist, but they're out of the picture for the most part. Well, as gods at least, that means Camellia can't quite be a visage, as neither Pachel nor Almia can really do that or desire to. So, Camellia is also Mephisto's daughter. I needed to do this to make the plot make sense. If she wasn't related to Mephisto, she wouldn't have a reason to be in the plot, and Camellia is the heart of the story. So this change was made to keep things coherent, especially when the new themes include a lot of familial and generational trauma stuff. It'd also keep the expectations put on Camellia there and keep those themes for her. Overall, I find it to be a very good decision. I'm like begging you guys, Please don't be weird in the comments. As previously stated, Pachel and Almia are almost out of the picture, but that doesn't mean completely. They're there, yes, but there's something different, something amalgamated, something that lurks in the shadows waiting to strike. Or they're just an overly anxious set of beings that have no idea what to do. That could also be it. I didn't actually write this part down in the script, and I feel like it's important to say. Mephisto is God now. Like, I just want to, like, put it out there. He's God, and it's part of the reason why Camellia is, like, important to the story, because she is a child of God, so is Lucian. That's a big aspect of the story, and I just wanted to, like, put it out there, and that is part of the reason why I'm not, like, I'm stuttering right now, because I didn't put it in my script. Okay, let's continue. What else will be changing? Oh yeah, this is also important to mention. So overall, the story of DiviRi was a lot tamer than I would have made it. Granted, there were dark elements, hints of more adult themes, but I want to be completely clear. The subtext I made within the writing is going to be a lot more overt. And I'd say that the 16+ rating is a lot more warranted, such as brutal descriptions of violence and just more grotesque and macabre stuff in the later books. Again, unscripted, there's also a lot more adult themes in general. Like, these characters are all adults, save for, like, one character and a baby. Like, they're, like, the only ones that are not adults. So, like, yeah. And to continue with the script. This isn't to say that people under the age of 16 cannot read it. I don't want to make it inaccessible to a younger audience. It's more that I can't, in good faith, recommend it to those who are faint of heart or cannot handle the subjects with respect. Now for the medium. This one's a bit of a doozy. A big doozy. I decided that the best way to do this was multimedia. That means I'm going to probably release it online at first as a web novel, then branch into other ways of showing the story. No, it's not going to be something crazy like a web series. I don't have the money or time for that. Instead, I was thinking it'd be kind of like an audiobook after the books are published. For example, I'd publish the first book online for free, work on the next book, and while I do that, work with my small team to make audio transcriptions of certain scenes. I'd put it on YouTube with pictures to go along with it in the style of a visual novel. That way, we'd still have the visual and oral aspects of the original. When the next book is released, the first will be moved to Amazon or any other way of distributing it, while the second book would be online for free. This way, everyone involved can get compensation for their work while still being accessible to those who don't have the money to spend on a book. I was also thinking that if I get the funds, I'd self-publish to bookstores. The hardcover copy would have extra goodies like posters, tarot cards. I don't know. I'm not really sure about all that. It's more like a pipe dream, really. But yeah, here's my little update. Right now, in the last 3 months, I've written about 62,000 words of the whole book series, just to plan out scenes I have ideas for. I can't get super into the plot because, whoops, spoilers, but I promise that I'm doing my best. See you all on the flip side.